So today we are going to learn all the basics of Docker, how to create image, how to start, how to run, and how to pull images from the web. We are also going to use an assignment whereby we will learn the following: pulling, running, creating images, and managing multiple images. So as you're seeing here, we are having our assignment, which is on containerizing a Flask API with PostgreSQL. So our objective in this assignment is to create a lab where we will pull and run a PostgreSQL database in a container with persistent storage. Then after that, we will build and run a Flask API in a container that talks to Postgres SQL. We will also use a custom Docker bridge network for inter-container communication and also mount volumes so that data persists across containers when they restart. So the following files will be provided in the video description below. So you will be provided with the app.py, the app.py, which contains the Flask code that already connects to Postgres SQL. Then you also have the requirements.txt, which has the Python dependencies, and also the env, the environment.example for the environment variables. This assignment will require you to containerize and run this app, not to modify the code. So we will go ahead and solve the tasks given below. So we'll go straight away and open our terminal by pressing Windows button X and then run the terminal as the admin. Click yes. So for the purpose of this video, in the previous video we learned how to install and configure WSL plus Docker. So today we'll just be adding on that by using just some feature. So in a previous video I showed you guys how to install WSL and how to connect it with a specific Ubuntu distro. So for the purpose of this video we are going to use the Ubuntu terminal. So I'll go ahead and I log into my Ubuntu terminal through WSL. So this is the command that takes you to the Ubuntu terminal. You can just type WSL-D Ubuntu 24.04 or any distro that you installed, then I'll press enter. So when you press enter, you'll be brought to the Linux terminal. So right now, if I'm to check where I'm standing by printing my working directory, you can see that I'm standing on local disk C under users in the FirstUG folder as the user. So you can change this according to where you want to do your work from. For the purpose of this video, I'll just switch to my local disk D. So I'll cd change the working directory to 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 local disk D. So for your case, you can switch anywhere you want. You can go to the desktop, but for my case, I'll go to local disk D. So when I go there and I ls, these are the files and folders that I have in my local disk D. So I will go on to create a new folder where I'll be working from to solve this assignment. So what I will do, I'll go back to the terminal. And so after ls, I'll first come here and I read through the assignment. So for the purpose of this assignment, I'm going to create a new folder in local disk D where I will be working from. So I will come here and type my command mkdir, which stands for make a directory or create a directory, since in Linux folders are called directories. So I'll create one called web API. So after creating one, when I ls, you can see it here. So I'll cd, I'll change my directory to web API. So when I enter and I ls, there is nothing. I'll go on and I clear this. So inside here, it is where we are going to create all the files that are necessary to complete our assignment. So part one suggests that says that we should create network and volumes. So you are required to create a custom bridge network named my bridge and create two persistence volumes for this for pgdata for PostgreSQL data and appdata for Flask app logs. So we'll go on and create that. So when we come back to our terminal, the Docker, so we'll go on and create those two files as required. So I'll come here and I type Docker volume. So let me see what they've asked us to start with. So we can start with creating a custom bridge network. So I'll go on and I say Docker network, then create. And what is the name of the network that we are going to create? It is called my bridge. So if you want to create a network, given the name my bridge, we'll just type in that command, type in this command with the network name given, my bridge. Make sure you use the correct spellings. So I'll go back and I check my bridge and then I press enter. So as you're seeing, I've been able to create my network image. So I'll go on and I create another one. So this time around we are creating the volume as asked in the document. Yes, we will create two volumes. So I'll go on and I create one Docker volume, create. One is called pgdata, and then again the second one is called appdata. So after creating that, we can confirm by checking by using this command docker network ls. Ls stands for list. As you're seeing here, we are having a custom network which is my bridge. Then we'll also do the same for the volumes. Sorry. So when we check for the volumes, you can see that we have our volumes which we created here, the app data and the pg data. So that first task has been solved. We'll move on. So part two, number two suggests that we have also to create data persistence. This means that if you're to create persistence volumes for these containers that we've created, even though you tend to reset or delete or shut down the container, the data will be stored out of that container to your local host or to your local computer. In case maybe you've deleted the container and you want to regain back your data, you can still create it and reclaim your data. So that is simply what data persistence means. we are going, it just means in simple terms, we are going to shift that data from the container to our local host as a backup. So I'll go on and I persist that data by pressing this command. So after that, we will continue to number 2, which says pull the latest Postgres image from Docker Hub. So for part 2, our goal here is to launch a Postgres database that our Flask app can talk to later. To do this, we will use the doc run command, which creates and starts a new container from an image. So when you create that, you have also to be aware of the exact name of the computer that, sorry. So another thing you also to have, so another thing you should also be aware of the exact name of the container that you want to pull from the Docker Hub. For example, for our Postgres, yeah, we'll locate the exact name. I'll be showing you. Then after that, we will need to connect our Postgres container to our network bridge, of which we'll also do it in the terminal. So I'll go back. So when we come back to our terminal, now what we are going to do, we are going to pull our Docker image of Postgres. So I'll go on and I pull our image. So I'll go on and I type my command. As we said, when we need to pull our image, we will and connect it to our. So I'll go on and I press docker run, then with the flag D. So this command docker run with the flag D, it just creates and runs the container in the background. Then we will proceed to creating the name by pressing this hyphen name. So with hyphen name, this makes you to create a custom name over the pulled image name. So we'll go on and create our PG name. Then we'll also call our network by using hyphen network. So our network was my bridge. So after that, then we'll use this flag E, which sets the required environment variables for the database user and the password. So I'll go on and start with the Postgres user. So I'll click hyphen E Postgres underscore user, which is equal. So let us check for the user that was. So as it is suggesting here, pull the latest Postgres image from Docker Hub, then run a Postgres container named PG. We've done that. So the following attached to the my so the following will be done. You will attach the image to my bridge network. Then you will also be required to create these Postgres environment variables. So we'll go on for the Postgres user. They have specified app, and then for the password is separate. Then the DB is appdb. So we will be mounting this to this variable where we'll be storing our data inside the container. So I'll go on and I create that very fast. So for the user, they've said it is up. Then environment for the database, Postgres, password, will equal to secret. Then we'll go on and create the Postgres database, Postgres DB, which stands for database, is equal to appdb. And then the hyphen v, remember they have asked us to mount our program data at this. I'll zoom in a little bit at this location. So we'll be mounting our data at this location. So I'll go on and I persisted that data by using the flag hyphen with v. So I'll go on and I pg, they said it is called pgdata. Then we are storing it at var lib, let me check, postgres postgres, yes, postgres SQL data. Then postgres. So as you're seeing, this is the command that will help us to pull the image. As when you say the docker run with the hyphen d, this will pull the image, then give it the name, and then connects it to our network bridge that we created. Then then you specify the environment variables for the user, password, and then for the database, and then also resign it to this address. So I'll click enter. So as you're seeing, we are done with this command of creating the environment variables and connecting them to the network bridge that we created, my bridge network. So after creating that, we'll go on and confirm if our image is running by pressing Docker PS. So when we press Docker PS, you can see our image is running with the container ID given here, and then our image is up, which means that it is running. So we'll go on and proceed to task number 3, which says that we write a Docker file to containerize the Flask app and requirements. So use a lightweight Python-based image, install dependencies from requirements, and then create the app plus where it will run from, and then run the app with Python app. So we are going to create the Docker file. So as the assignment suggests here, that we'll be using the Python lightweight version. So there are 2 versions I can mention of. There is Python 3 Slim and Alpine. So the 3 Slim, it is the great all-around choice with much smaller, which is much smaller than the default, but still very compatible with the most packages. And then the Alpine, it is the smallest. So sometimes if you use the Alpine, it will require you to install like it will require you extra work if you're installing or running a complex app setup. So we'll go on and use the Python 3 Slim for our case, because at least for it, it is better with some variables and dependencies with libraries. It has many. So I'll go on. So I'll continue creating the Docker file by typing touch. This is the Linux command that creates file, Docker file. So on creating the Docker file, you don't need to specify the extension. You just write it plain as it is, touch Docker file. So when we list, we'll be seeing here the Docker file. So I'll proceed to editing the Docker file by pressing nano Docker file. The nano is a Linux editor that helps you to modify, edit any files in Linux. So I'll press enter. So you'll be brought to this page where you'll be required to write your Docker file. So before I proceed, I'll just explain you a little bit how to start your Docker file. So the Docker file has four main components, which includes the from, where you'll be starting your like the base or the source of the app. So then we have the working directory, which sets the working directory inside the container. Then we have the copy. So this copy command, it helps you to copy any required commands that or specified commands that the app will be basing on to run. Then we have the run command, which will set or install extra dependencies and libraries for our application. Then the copy, it will be copying the exact application to the exact commands, libraries and dependencies to the main app when it is running. Then you also have the expose command, which will expose or which will create the interface for our Docker application where it will be running from. Then lastly, we have the command itself, which targets or defines the commands on which the application will run from. So in simple terms, I'll give you an example. For example, if you want to direct someone, I'll give you a simple example. For example, if you want to direct someone to your home, that person will be coming from their home, which is the base. So of course you have to specify, uh, maybe for example, if someone is coming from Kampala to Masaka, so you'll have to specify if you reach Kampala, you go to the old tax park where someone will go for and for. So I'll give a very simple example. For the codes I've talked about, for example, for the from, this will specify the base or the source where the application will start from. So here we are in the nano editor. So we'll continue to create our Docker file. So I'll come here. Then I'll create a comment. So this is our base or the source of our application. Of the Python image. Python image. So I'll click enter. So then from there I'll say from Python, then specify the exact version 3 -slim, and I press enter. Then from there, as I said, we'll be creating our working directory. So you set the working directory. So after setting the working directory, say work there, work there, let me check. So they said be creating Python file, Docker file. So our working directory will be app, then we'll copy the requirements. copy the requirements dot text. So I'll come here and I say copy requirements dot text, and you have to put the ending full stop because we are copying the requirements file first to create or to leverage our layer of caching in our container. Then I'll go on and I now set the command to install the Python dependencies with its libraries, which will be run pip. Pip is a package for installing the Python files. So install. We have to specify R, which means that the requirements that we want to install with our Python. So I'll specify R for requirements, then requirements dot text. So again, we'll go on and then copy the rest of the application code to app.py. So copy the rest to app.py. Then we'll press copy. So from there, we will then expose which will create expose the part or the interface our app will run from. Then I'll say expose. For our case, it is port 8080, which was given. So finally, we'll define the command. We'll define the commands. Our app will use to run. Then I'll say cmd open square brackets. Then in the quotes we type Python. We close it. Then comma type app.py. That is our app that we want to run. Then I'll close this. So for you to be able to write out this file, we'll press Ctrl O and then enter, then Ctrl X to save. So I'll go on and I proceed to the next instruction. So after creating the Docker file, then you'll be required to run the app and also build the image and tag it as my Flask latest. So go and use the Docker command, Docker build with flag T to tag the name to the image that we are going to build. So you said we tag it as my Flask latest. So my Flask latest. So after that, I'll first clear this. Then we will need to build our image. So just press Docker build, then -t. The name was my Flask latest. So as you're seeing here, we are getting an error, which means, so I'll first clear this. So I have to first, so I run docker build with -t, then my Flask at the full colon latest. So as you're seeing here, we are getting an error that requires one argument. Use okay, so what we'll do, we'll have to build this as a whole. Let me go back to our assignment. So our assignment, build run a container named with the following attached. Okay, so what we are going to do is, let me first go back to our assignment. So what we are going, after that, what we are going to do is, so now we'll come back and run docker build, uh, docker build, docker build with the T flag that they've told us to tag our image as my Flask latest, my Flask latest, with a dot, since we are going to tag this in this folder. So as you're seeing, it has started building, but we've got an error which shows that it has finished 3 out of 3, but we got an error along the way, which shows that our base version for Python application image is causing this issue. So the error says that failed to build, so we need an expected request. So we need to fix this. So I'll first go back to it, to the folder. So I think with this, the reason why we are getting this error, it is because, as I said, these slim versions or the Alpine, they have few dependencies and libraries that the Python file will need for an application to run fully. So what we will do, we'll go back to our folder. So I'll open the nano editor. I'll open the Docker file again and then modify the Python. Oh, sorry, I've typed a wrong name, so I'll type Docker. So I'll go back and then change this to a specific Python version. I'll call it Python 3.11, the latest, then Control O, enter, then Control X. So I will rerun this, I will rebuild this. So still we are getting some errors again. So this time around it fails to build because of this unauthorized email access before so let me go on and first troubleshoot this. So if I'm to observe, I think the error is from, oh, I've noticed it. So I had named this wrong, so I'll go on and correct the error, go back to our nano editor. So make sure you observe your spelling. So I had made a typo here, so it is supposed to be Python. Yes, so I'll press Control. Let me first even remove this. Let me first call it, then Control X. Then I'll rebuild my image again. Oh, please. So I'll go back again and I change the version of Python here. So I'll click Ctrl O, then so you'll be getting errors like this. So you just need to read and troubleshoot them. So you can also pass through your Docker file such that to make sure that you've not made any mistakes. So I'll go on and I save this, then I'll rerun it. So you're still getting the same error. So I'll go on and I fix that. So as you're seeing here, this issue has to do with pulling the image. So it is saying here the error, it failed because it failed to fetch the image and build because I need to go because of an authorization from my email. So my email must be verified before using the account. Oh, so since I created my account and logged into Docker, so I have to first go back and then verify my email. So as you're seeing here, I created an account. Then I need to go to my email and then I verify my email with Docker. So I'll go on and I click verify. So I will skip this. So I'll go back to my terminal after verifying my email and then rerun the command again. So this time I hope it will work. Again, we've got an error. This time around it is on line 3 where the requirements we forgot to specify the dot. So I'll go back to my nano editor. It is saying error on 3.5 copy requirements text, copy requirements text, copy the requirements install a Python dependency for it's like that will check some requirements not found. Oh, so the issue with this, let me go back and I show you to my terminal. So as the issue that is causing this, it is because when we let me first show you. So when we ls, we don't have the requirements folder in our working folder. So what we'll do, you will get the requirements, the app.py and the requirements.tx and put them under that same folder where you're working from. So me, I will locate mine very fast. So I'll go to cd use and then I'll type cd, then I'll copy this, and I'll press cd and go back to local disk D where I'll just press copy, then I paste the link that I've copied. I must have assignments. Docker assignments. Oh, no. So as you're seeing here, I'll copy the Docker assignments. Then inside this folder, I'll get it, and so it is inside Docker. All the files are inside Docker assignment. So I'll paste cd to Docker assignment. As you're seeing, all the required files are in Docker assignment. So we'll get these files and copy them to our working directory. So what I'll do, I'll simply press cp, which stands for copy. Then I'll copy the app.py, the env.txt, and the requirements.x. Then we need to move out of this folder by pressing hyphen. That is one folder for Docker assignment, then another one for systems admin and networking, then another one for SEM3, then another one for moves. So it depends on your directory where I install those files. So that for my case, I had to go out of 3 files, so I've skipped that. Then press web API where I want to paste my where I want to copy and paste my file. So I'll press enter. So as you're seeing, I've been able to copy my file. So what I'll do, then I'll go back to this command and I just edit it to cd such that I change the working directory. So it is suggesting that I have too many arguments. Oh, so I need to just I need to delete this such that I can go to my folder. So as you're seeing, I've been able to go back to my working directory. When I ls, we have the files. So I'll go on and I rerun the other code again of building. Let me just type it docker build with a tag for my files, my Flask latest. Oh, sorry. So I'm making a mistake. So I forgot to put the full stop, which means that it has to build our image here. So I'll put it, then I press enter. So as you're seeing, it has started. So it is building and downloading all the necessary dependencies. So it is exporting. So we are done building our image. So if for your case it has failed, make sure that you check this. Let me go back to, let me just type it, nano Dockerfile. So make sure, if for your case, if at all it fails, make sure that you edit this statement and make it Python 3.11, so that with that version it will make sure that it installs all the necessary libraries and dependencies. I'll press Ctrl X. So we've managed to create now our image. So if I press Docker images, you can see that right now we have our image here and it is 230 MBs. It is here, my Flask. So we'll go on and execute this and append this. We need to run the we need to run a container named web with the following: the attached to my bridge network. We map the host to the container with the port. We map the host port 8080 to the container port 8080. Then we mount the app data and pass the environment variables. So this step will be similar to the previous one that we did. So what we'll do, we'll come here again and say docker run, then flag d, then the name. This time around, they've told us to use web, so I'll go on and give it name as web. Then for the network, I'll give it my bridge. Then we have to set the port mapping, which will be, for our case, which will be 8080. So I'll go on and I map the port as 8080 plus the one for container 8080. So you have to leave a space here. Then I'll go on and I create, let me check. Then they've said we pass the data to this, so we are going to pass our data to this, and also we need to mount to appdata. So I'll go back, then I'll persist with v stands for the volume, which means the data they've said appdata, that is our volume. And then we are going to pass this to the app, then we are storing the data. Then we come back and check. We are passing this to the following environment variable, so of which I'll just copy it direct from here to save time. So I'll highlight and I copy, then I go back. The flag E is the one for setting the environment variable, so I'll paste it direct here. Then after that, I'll pass this to my Flask app.latest. Then I click enter. So as you're seeing here, we've managed to create our image. So when we run again Docker, so here we can run again Docker images. So I've made a typo. Docker images. So our Flask image, you're seeing we've managed to map that. So then after that, we'll need to check if our created image for Postgres is running by pressing docker ps. So as you're seeing here, we are having two images running right now. So after confirming that our images are running, then we can come back here. So as in the assignment, they are saying for part 4, we need to verify. So first come here and copy these commands provided. So we will need to verify this. So I'll go back to this and then I'll paste to initialize the endpoints. This will tell Flask to create the app items in the table for Postgres. So as you're seeing here, we've got an error, so we need to fix this. So I think you rejected the group number decimals URL. Oh, so I think the reason why we are getting this error, it is the spacing in this command. So I'll retype it again, cal -x, then post, then post. The call is a client URL that fetches from the links that fetches the web links. So I'll come here and I type http full colon localhost. So when you're typing your link, you don't need to leave spaces. And I'll come here on port 8080, then slash init, press enter. So as you're seeing here, it was able to initialize. Then we'll go back, then we'll do the same for this. I'll just copy this. Remember to not leave spaces in your links. I'll come back and I delete spaces. And I'll press enter. So as you're seeing here, we were able to get status okay. So I'll come back to my assignment. So you should get status okay. Then insert data with these items. So I'll copy this, then come back here, paste. Then now I will delete spaces. Then we need to pass the items here. So the first item is so the content type. I'll remove the spaces. You don't need to leave spaces. So with our statement here, we are calling this to the H stands for the H flag sets the header to tell the server we are sending the JSON data, this data. So I'll go back. Then the data we are sending is here. So the D flag contains the actual data that we are sending. So this is the data. I'll come back and I copy the data. As I said, we don't need spaces. And I'll come back also, clear spaces in this. And I'll press enter. So as you're seeing here, we've got a bad request. So we need to fix this. Let me look through. So I think the problem here is with my quotes. So let me first copy this as it is. And I come back and I paste it. So when I paste it, you can see here it has brought back the information we've requested here. So we're able to run that. So let me confirm. Let me go back to assignment. So list the data. So let me confirm by using this command, list the data with cal, Ctrl C, come back. Oh, sorry. Still, we got spaces in our link, so delete them. It will give us an error. So I'll go on. I'll press Ctrl C to cancel, and I'll come back here and then delete the spaces. So I'll click enter. So as you're seeing here, we were able to return the ID as 1, the name as the first item. So this verifies that you've connected your volumes and everything as requested in the assignment, and it is working. So number 5 is saying stop and remove both containers, restart them, verify that data is still present because of volumes. So we'll do that very fast to test our volumes. So I'll come back here, then I'll first of all I will list Docker volumes ls. I'll list what have I made. Oh, it has to be volume ls. So as you're seeing here, I will have to remove our appdata and pgd volume. So I'll press docker rm, then pgdata, then appdata. No such containers. Oh, sorry. So the reason why we've got an error here, because our images are still running. So when I select here doc ps, you're seeing, so we need to stop both the web and the pg. So I'll go on and I said docker stop pg and web, and I press enter. So as you see, our image has been stopped. So go on and remove them, docker remove pg and then web. So as of now, let me list again the images. As you're seeing here, we still have our image, and then we've confirmed that we no longer have those volumes. So when I check docker volume ls, then so to confirm this again, I'll press docker ps with the -a to check for all images. So as you're seeing here, we don't have any image or container that is running from the ones we created, the web and the pg. So for this assignment, they want you to remove the images you created. They want you to remove the containers that you created, and then reclaim them to verify that your data persistence is still available. So we're going to reclaim those containers that we've deleted. So I'll go back and type docker run -d for data. Then I'll start by my container name, which is for the first container, it was web. Then our network was, for the first container, it was pg. Then our network was my bridge. Then we have our environment as Postgres, Postgres user, which was equal to app, then hyphen environment Postgres Postgres, then underscore password, which was separate, then again environment for the database. So sorry, the first one we are not creating the one for database, but I'll go on and I change this. So you have to put database user. So database under we'll go on and delete this. So we'll create Postgres DB, which is equal to appdb. Then we persist the data, and then we'll put the data pgdata in our specified location, the var lib slash postgres SQL. Hyphen data Postgres. Click enter. So we are having the challenge library Postgres must be lowercase. Okay. Format invalid lower name. Let me retake my so where's the error coming from? Network language. Oh, we've not this specified here. We've not specified the environment. So I'll click OK. So as you're seeing here, we've been able to create our container again. Then I'll go on and create the other one of web. So I'll get this very comment and just edit it. So I'll come back. For you to be able to retrieve the previous command, you can press arrow key up. So I'll come back and just modify the name to web. Then the network will stay the same. Then with this, what will change it is here. From here, where we'll change this. I'll delete most of this. So here we will map our port as P, and then we give it 80 for the container, and then we also give the one for the app. Then we'll persist the data. So I'll delete also this. Then we also now persist the data here for appdata. Then I'll go on appdata and store it differently. So app, then data. Then for the database, I'll create the database environment, database URL will equal to Postgres PostgreSQL, then -app. So we'll map this together with, it was secret at pg, then we connect it to our pg container with 5432, then appdb my flask at latest. Then I press enter. So as you're seeing here, so when I check again my Docker status, so click Docker PS, as you're seeing here, our images are running. Then if we click to check for the items, I'll click call http, then the full colony, then localhost, then on port 880/items, I click enter. We were able to retrieve this. So when I go back also here and I check my Docker, from here I'll open it, you can see that we are having our container running, but we were supposed to call it web. So I'll first stop it from here, and then come back here and check again Docker PS. Oh, sorry, it has to be lowercase Docker PS. As you're seeing here, we're having our web still running. So then I'll come back to this. I will need to, so, and when I click on only show running containers, you're seeing this for web, but I think I'll just need to scroll down. Oh, so as you're seeing here, these are our containers. So just one was hidden with the other. So when I click stop, also for the web, which is running on this port, so this is what our assignment wanted. So we've verified and recreated everything. So I'll screenshot everything. So that is it. Thank you so much. Subscribe to Pure Code Tech. Bye bye. So as you're seeing, our images have all stopped. So when I click doc ps, there is nothing running. So when I click docker start pg, then web, and I go back here, you see their status, they are running now. So that is how you can create images, and that is how you can do everything. So when I click stop, it will stop the images. So as you're seeing here, it is stopping also the one for web. So let us check. This is in real time, no container running. So when I go back, I start them all. When I go back and check on the status, they are all running. So this is the container space that they are using.